Hey guys, it's Aaron again. In this video, I want to talk about transportation in the Philippines. And, you know, if you troll around YouTube, you will definitely find a lot of good information from, Life Beyond the Life Beyond the Sea. And by the way, I'm a one-take wonder. I don't redo videos. I just take them and post them. LifeBeyondTheSea.com, My Philippine Dreams, My Philippine Journey, and there's a bunch of other ones, but those are the three that just come to mind. That talk about transportation, the different methods, the pros and cons. You know, some focus specifically like on motorcycles, some are more into general transportation, some use go into ferries, etc. So I'm just going to share with you the little bit that I know. Okay, well, 2 years here. In and out of the country, what do I know, right? I just missed my car back home, brand new car. Anyway, habo habo. What the heck is a habo habo? A habo habo is basically a guy who has a motorcycle that will give you a ride for so many pesos. My experience with those is pretty darn good. But when you get three on a motorcycle, it gets a little dicey, although it's kind of cool, You're out there riding on the back of this motorcycle in a t-shirt and shorts and your flip-flops and no helmet, and you're doing all the stupid things that you would never do in the States. It's crazy. I don't know how to explain it, but it's fun. Okay, habo habo, the cost of the ride, normally more than 10 pesos, not any more than 40 pesos, depending on where you're going. Don't get scammed for that. If they say 100 pesos, forget it, find somebody else. Trike or tricycle, which is this typically like 100 to 125cc motorcycle with a sidecar on it, and those sidecars can hold anywhere from like 3 people to 7 people, just depending on the size of it. I know in the city that we are in, you're going to have a choice of transportation. You're going to have habo habo, or you're going to have trike. Bus, yeah, but buses are more for city to city or barangay to barangay, whatever. So, jeepneys. Jeepneys typically exist in the larger cities, like Davao, like Cebu, like Luzon or Manila, and some of the other cities, all in between. I haven't been to all of them, so I don't know, but I know in the city that we are in, there are no jeepneys. There are only habo habo and trucks. And the jeepneys are very inexpensive. You can pop a ride for 5 pesos or 10 pesos from here and there, typically in the city, and it's pretty cool. And I mean cool meaning it's exciting. It's not cool in the middle of the day. It's hot. Remember, this place is hot. Okay, don't forget that. If you're home watching in the snow, this place is hot. Another form of transportation that's related to a motorcycle, or a motor as they call it here, is called Skylab. And what happens is that a guy will have his motorcycle and then he'll attach like wings to his motorcycle, and this guy can carry 6 people at a time on his motorcycle from, I don't know, for 5 pesos, for 7 pesos, 10 pesos, whatever. But that's his way of making income. They call that Skylab because it looks like the frickin' Skylab. And sometime I'll show you a picture of that, and I'll show you the Skylab, and you'll see the two side by side. It's really kind of cool, but very dangerous, right? I haven't done it yet. Taxis. In the major cities, yes, you can get a taxi. There is Uber, there is Grab Taxi, so you can hold those guys accountable. Caution, if you've been interested in the Philippines for some time, you know that there are serious cab or taxi crocodiles in Manila. Always go on the meter. Never take any crap from a taxi driver, especially if you're in the right. Buses. There's different types of buses. There are buses that go long distance from city to city. There are buses that go from island to island. And there are buses that go express, which is very few stops, if not point to point. And then there are buses that go point to point to point to point to point, which is kind of ridiculous, and I'll explain what I mean by that. If we take a bus from here to my wife's hometown, it's like 4 cities in between. It should typically take about 2 hours. Okay, by bus with the bus stops at the terminal. But what happens is people are getting on and off this bus at random times, which takes it from a 2-hour journey to a 3.5 to 4-hour journey. If you're a foreigner and you get on that bus and you have low tolerance, you will be frustrated. You know, you have to remind yourself it's the way it works here. We know in the States we have bus stops. Here, the bus stops, all right. It stops wherever the hell people want. And that could be a mile from stop to stop, or it could be 100 feet from stop to stop. And I asked my wife, why do people not gather in one spot to get on the bus? And she said, because they want to get their money's worth. Whatever. Express buses, they will go from city to city, typically with no stops. If you want the bus with the least amount of stops, get the air-conditioned bus. The reason it's fewer stops is because it's more expensive. And what I mean by more expensive is it might be 10 pesos more expensive than a non-air-conditioned bus. But I guarantee you, you want to pay the extra 10 or 20 pesos, whatever it is, to get on the air-conditioned bus. Because if you ride a non-AC bus for 2 hours or 4 hours, you will be beat by the time that you're done with that ride. Not good for much. Ferries. Ferries go from island to island. There are passenger ferries, there are freight ferries, there are passenger ferries with vehicles, a variety of ferries. For myself, with my wife, I've only taken a 2-hour ferry from Mactan to Tagbilaran to Bohol on the express ferry. It was a good experience. I don't have a lot of experience with that. If you do, leave a comment, post a video, give some other people more experience. But I know that Henry from Life Beyond the Sea has a great video on ferries. In particular, the one that I took, he had some great advice, which was buy your ferry ticket before you get to the ferry terminal, because you can save going through, standing in the line in the hot sun. Also, Mike, My Philippine Journey, he's got some great videos. He's used the ferries a lot. He knows. There's a slow ferry, the fast ferry, there's an overnight ferry, there's a day ferry. So it just really, the ferries vary, right? You can hire a car with a private driver. There's a cost for that. You might pay, we hired a van for a day. It cost us 3,000 pesos. We would hire a van to go from Davao to Tagum City for like 1,500 pesos. That was our choice. If you take the bus, it's a couple hundred pesos. So it just depends on your tolerance for expense. What you want to spend, how much you want to spend, what your budget is. I would say, if you're going to stay here for more than 1 week, rent a motorcycle, or a motor as they call it. Go to several shops, find out who's renting, what the prices are. I have been quoted anywhere from 3,000 pesos for a month to 9,000 pesos for a month. So the prices will vary from location to location. Take a Filipino with you so you don't get gouged the econo tax and have to pay a higher price. I'm sorry, that doesn't sound good. I don't like it, but it's the way that it is. A motorcycle or a motor here in the Philippines means freedom. And it means freedom to come and go as you please and to explore other places. For my wife and I, we've been here for a month. We don't have our own motorcycle. We've kind of learned this the hard way. That's why I'm talking about it. But she's out right now looking for a motorcycle. And whether we rent it or buy it, I don't know. But we're definitely going to get one because we don't like being cramped up here, especially when it's hot. We'd rather be out riding and be cool, go to the resorts. There's so much here to see. It's a pain in the butt to sit here and watch YouTube videos of the Philippines when you're sitting in the Philippines. Go out and do something. But a motorcycle will get you that freedom, not a car. A car can be inconvenient. And there's one area that I don't know about, and that's renting a car here in the Philippines. I've seen signs, but I just don't know about it. If you have an experience with renting a car here in the Philippines, please comment or post a video that other people can look at and share your experience. If you have a U.S. driver's license, that driver's license is good here in the Philippines for a certain amount of time. If you have an international driver's license like I do, I've got it from the AAA. It was very easy. It cost me $15. It's good for like 5 years. you can use that here in the Philippines. But I am not an expert. I have not experienced that. There are people who do have expats who have Philippine licenses to drive. That's a whole different story, and there's lots of videos out there about that. So I hope that this video has been helpful to you, kind of steer you in some directions, give you some ideas of different types of transportations. Always be safe. If you ever have a doubt, don't do it. Just be safe. Don't go in the dark alley. Stay where the people are. Be safe. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, subscribe, push the like button or not. It's up to you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.